Hello, everyone. This is retired Navy vet, and welcome to Dwarf Fortress. I have created a world called Axegrind, and I am going to fumble my way through it. I've got a tiny bit of experience in Dwarf Fortress. Been playing it on and off for many years. Uh, Recently, I started watching a few YouTube series from Marcus Aurelius, who is retired and no longer making videos, but I keep going back to these videos from him, DOS Tactic, Captain Duck, Quill 18, and a whole host of other uh, streamers and YouTubers. I like the game. It's a lot of fun. So I decided, you know what? Let's try and actually learn the game a little bit better. And actually, well, there's no winning, but I have some ideas I like to try out. All right, so here's what I've got. Uh, I'm going to start with this episode, which is introduction. I'm just going to talk about how I've got everything set up, some of the utilities that I'm using, how I embarked, what I embarked with, my world settings, so on and so forth. And I'd like to talk about a fortress design that I have made in Excel. We'll go through that a little bit later. And then I'll actually stop this episode because I'm also trying something new, which is I'm also recording while I'm streaming, and I like to get it up on YouTube. Something I did a long time ago, I think with Minecraft or something, but it was fun. But I'd like to try it again and just see how I do. More for a learning experience than anything else. Uh, so instead of the lazy new pack, oh, disclaimer, not much of a tutorial because I I know little bits and pieces about Dwarf Fortress, but I I know a couple of things, which makes me probably dangerous. But anyway, there's a couple different ways to launch Dwarf Fortress. Lazy Noob Pack, which is a basically a pack Dwarf Fortress with some utilities and some graphics and some other stuff from I shoot. I don't even want to try and pronounce his name. What do we got here? This one. Paradexus errant. That's it. I knew it was something like that. Anyway, he's got a great starter pack. I am using, whoops, wrong one. I am using one from Meth. Where is Meth? Who I may have been or is started making tile sets, but he's got his own launcher now, which you can look up and find it yourself. I've got a couple the wiki open just in case I need to refer to it. Stone and ore, and then the main wiki is there. But this is the Meth tile set launcher. So let's jump in real quick. You can see some of my basic settings here. I'm using Meth's tile set, Phoebus font, which I like, which was a little bit bigger, but that's fine. What else we got? I like the digging warnings. No pet coffins. Seasonal colors, not exactly sure what that does, but I have it turned on. Fairy dwarves and statues and animations. Again, not really sure how this is different from the lazy new pack, but we'll give it a shot. I've got child baby cap at 5 and 5 respectively. That's a recommendation I read somewhere. FPS is on, capped at 144, which is the refresh rate of my monitor. I'm not sure how much that matters. I didn't mess with sieves, invaders, or balancing, or none of this stuff. This was all default, no aquifers. I did turn on decorations and engravings. Not sure what that does. And bug fixes and balancing. Not sure what that does either. If I would even notice any differences between, this launcher and Lazy Noob Pack, I don't know. World Gen. I do have some different World Gen stuff, and I'll show you that in a second. Like I said, I'm still learning. Didn't really change anything here. The stuff I changed was in the world generation settings itself, which we can go over. So this is where I got to, and I haven't played a single step yet. So I created my world, and here we are. But before we get here, I wanted to back up a little bit. And look at some of the parameters I used to make the world, which I borrowed from Marcus Aurelius and his YouTube series that he's got. He's got several series out. Like I said, he's retired, not making videos no more, which is too bad. He creates this whole world and a story around his forts, and it's really, really well done. So let's just do this. So this is how I created my world. Like I said, I copied some stuff from Marcus Aurelius, his setup anyway. So it was a medium region that I copied and changed and called it. That's me down here. Somebody named Gary, don't know who that is. Let's see if I can remember the changes. No changes on this one. No changes there. No changes there. Oops. Thought there was something in here. No. Wrong button. Here, not sure what the original value was, but I went to 1 and none. I guess it helps make the oceans more oceany, if that's even a word. See, volcanoes went from 3 to 5. Not sure why. Maybe one day I'll learn about how to do a volcano embark. And the last bit of stuff is here. Cavern openness, min and max. I guess it changes the way the caverns are constructed, and makes the caverns bigger and more open with, less passages and whatnot, the way Marcus described it. So I have those settings, and then these two change from their default. I forget what they were. So basically, wherever the cavern layer starts, I increase the distance. Wherever the default cavern layer started, I increase the distance to, however many. I forget how many it went up by. I don't remember what the original numbers were. Anyway, that's Marcus Aurelius does a better job of explaining what the changes are. I just kind of followed along, and fine, we'll give it a shot. Maybe one day when I get good at Dwarf Fortress, I'll revisit these again, or not use it at all, just go with the default world and see if I notice what the changes are. Anyway, yes, I want to abort. All right, So before we get in, let's look at Legends. So here's what I ended up with. I'm not going to spend any time in Legends. I don't know much about Legends, but I did pull out the Legends using DF Hack because I didn't want to align myself with a dying dwarf civ like the Divine Guilds here, which only have 116 dwarves. So that's the only thing I looked at when I first came in here. I haven't looked at any of the history and evil and this and that. That's okay. So I think I went with a Knife of Knowing. I'm not sure how much that matters for the playthrough. Let's take a quick look. I've never really spent much time in Legends. Wow, I have a lot of water buffaloes. Wonder why that is. Five pugs. Where'd it go? Anything unusual? And I don't know what would be unusual to have in here. No pet dragons or anything like that. Okay. All right, well, that's enough for that. All right, so we've got Dwarf Therapist running, which I'll be using. We also have announcement window to help filter some of the announcements. I've used this once before, and it was kind of handy, but we'll have to see how useful it really is. Sound Sense looks like it's finally done. We'll have to keep an eye on that. I don't know if any of the music in here would get me in trouble when I upload the stuff to YouTube or not, so I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And that's it. Oh, well, no, that's not it. So here's what I thought I would do. This little black mark is the keyboard on-screen display. Sorry, it's going to stick out here a lot once I look at the fort I'm going to design. So here's kind of the idea. This is just a count of some of the different stuff. So here's what the idea was, and I had some fun in Excel. I actually started building this long time ago. I don't know. I was actually at work one day. I'm kind of bored. Like, you know what? Let's make a fort, and why not? Let's use Excel. So this was kind of the idea. I got some towers in the corners, a couple drawbridges. These are roads. I think the trader entrance is going to be here. These were the levers to control the 4 drawbridges. That was the idea. This is really the main entrance to the fort. This is a tavern with a few guest rooms. After watching a bunch of videos and other stuff, I don't know how I'm going to defend this. Oh, I have a well here. Why? I don't know. I don't know why it's there. I'm not sure how I'm going to defend this or how my dwarfs are going to fend off the invaders. I don't know. I saw. Wow. I don't know who I was watching now, but he made his walls too high and then smooth them, which may or may not keep critters from climbing up. I mean, it's not going to do any good against flyers, obviously. Okay, fine. But if I can get these walls too high and then put fortifications around them, my dwarfs will be able to get up to either side and fire down. Obviously, if my dwarfs can shoot, they can get shot back, but that's the risk of being a crossbowman or bowman or whatever. Anyway, that's the idea. Um, Somewhere just above the stone layer, I was going to have some farms, and I can expand this as needed. Some farm plots, storage for seeds and whatever else. This was part of the ramp that you see coming down from the top where the traders are going to go in. I've never tried to actually build this fort the way this has been planned out. So I'm sure I've made mistakes and it's going to change over time, and it may not be feasible at all. But I figured, what the heck? It will be fun to try and build it. The next layer down below the farm was the quote-unquote kennel. Well, I'm going to have my chickens and turkeys, which I brought, and then different kennel rooms for the different dogs or whatever. I don't know why I have so many rooms. Really not necessary. But this is also kind of a starting area too. These are obviously the first couple floors that I will dig out for my dwarves to live until they get all this other stuff done. So I think that's why I ended up with these extra rooms. I forget. Or I think that's what I was thinking. Anyway, one down from the entry hall will be the main, entrance to the fort. Traders are going to come in here, marvel at some columns I have engraved or inscribed. Another safety drawbridge here, and depot storage here. This is that well that I had built on the surface. That's where that is. I think this is the broker's office. This is the main stair, again, coming down from the surface. I tried to keep everything lined up so it makes sense as I flip through. Oh, this was a Z level of whatever the surface is. I don't know what my Z level is right now. This was just kind of placeholder information. So entry hall. Let me get down. This is where the military is going to be, and jail. So I got a bunch of jail cells here with a well. I think if I put a well here, chain them there, they can move one tile in any direction. They'll have water. The doors will be here. The jailer's office here, and I guess I don't know where I'm going to store food for these guys. I probably should make some food storage or something somewhere. Hospital, I think, was the idea. With some water here, some traction tables. I need to read up a lot on the hospital. These are 3 levers for something. Oh, these must be for these 2 drawbridges. Kind of a last resort. If critters get inside my fort, my dwarves are already in a burrow, probably somewhere down here. Then hopefully someone can pull, the levers again to close these bridges. A little bit more safety. And I think I'm going to have a pit or something below here. I'm not sure. Did I leave room for that? No, I didn't. Well, I did. Look, it jumps from 140 to 134. So it looks like I was kind of thinking of that. So somewhere between the entry hall and the military, I'm going to have some pits or something with spikes maybe. I kind of think that was the idea. I haven't quite fully fleshed that out. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, it sounded fun when I was, designing this, but now that I'm actually learning and having to actually build this thing, yeah, it's anyway. So I've got some barracks. Each one of these is got 10 beds in here, and an armor stand for training or something. I'll probably need maybe a weapon stand in the chest for each bed. I don't know. I've got to read up on this a lot. Hammer. These are the militia or the squad commander's office. I think that's the idea. This is the militia commander's office. I can expand if he needs more room. I'm not sure if they, need their own dining room and bedroom and office and all that. I don't know. The same with the militia commanders. Target practice, and then storage for whatever. This is another up downstairs. Uh, I read something about the targets that if you put, it's either a ramp in front of or behind the bolts can fall down and you can recover them. I'm not sure where the ramp down needs to be, but I need to figure that out. And that would be over here somewhere, right? Which works. I did leave room for it here. So that's what this kind of area is. I need to figure that out. Social area. So these are the big dining halls here. Dining hall. That was room for a well coming down from somewhere. The prisons and the hospital. That's what that cutout is, but okay, fine. I think S's were statues, maybe? I'm not sure what the little B's were for, or what the B's were. I don't remember. No idea. I don't know what the B's were for. What is this? Tables and chairs. What are the B's? I don't know. All right. Oh, is it 70%? Okay. There. I broke something. All right, so not sure what this is. Maybe display stands or something for artifacts and stuff. I don't know. I don't know what I had planned this to be. This might be a temple of something. I don't know. I have no idea what I built. So, looking at this more closely, I don't know what all this stuff is for. Green rooms are usually like nobles' quarters, officer quarters, something to that effect. So I'm not exactly sure what I was thinking when I made this. All right. So here's the main dining hall. This is the dining hall. I got a couple wells here and there so they can, and with storage so they can wash their hands before they eat. Food and drink stockpiles, which would be fed from, larger food and drink stockpiles. A lot of rooms for all my dwarves here and there. Noble quarters, the rooms are a little bit bigger. Don't know the difference between blue and green. I think blue is just the, commoners, The green are the actual noble quarters. Here are the wells coming down from the prisons, jail cells, and this is the one from the hospital. And here's a couple more from the dining room. I had to leave open and keep an eye on. Never dug a well, so I'm not sure how this is going to work. We've got the... Oh, this is the throne room, I think. Yeah, I think this was going to be the throne room. And then this is the royal quarters, basically. You've got, I don't know, bedroom, office, dining room, statues. I don't know. I have no idea what I was doing when I made this. These are all the various stairs that were up and down through the fort. The yellow are the wells. The green X's were the main entrance, or the main stairs, so to speak. The green ones were for the 7 founders. These were the founders' rooms. Excuse me. All right, and then the workshops. Wow, what an eye chart this is. I don't know for sure why I have this 6 by 6. I think there is a like organic workshop flow something picture I saw somewhere. They had all these workshops and little storage areas, and it was just a very efficient way for quite a few of the different industries that the dwarves could be doing here. And I think that was the idea. Yellow are workshops, definitely. And then everything else is, storage or whatever. That's a whole lot of storage space. Or not. I really don't know. Like I said, I'm very, very, very new and have never gotten very far. So we'll see. I think these were specific types of wood or stone for like the guy making all my crafts stuff that I'm going to sell. Some of the, master crafters or legendary crafters, whatever you want to call it. I think that's what the idea for these were. I'm not sure why this is 5 by 5 and not a 3 by 3. I'm not sure what this one is. I thought I had thought I took notes, and so I know what all this stuff is, but I don't remember now. Access to one of the wells. I mean, why not? Guess they want to stop by and get a drink. You know what? I don't know if you can stack a well. If I put a well here, can I put one up above somewhere? Like here? That could be a problem. But that's okay. It's a learning experience. If this design absolutely doesn't work, then fine. We'll change it or scrap it. I got no problem with that. All right, moving on from the workshops. Crypt. Went crazy and made a bunch of rooms. How many rooms do I have here? I got room for 217 dead folks. That's far too many. But hey, it's there. There it is. And then at some point, I need to be able to have access to water for all these wells. So I don't know which direction the water is going to come in from yet. This is part of the Atom Smasher, I think. which I've never built. So we'll see how it goes. I think the G's were great. So a grate to help keep stuff from coming up from the bottom. What do we got here? I don't know. This is, I think, what I was thinking I would need to do. Plug from like a river or something. Open it up. The water's going to flow here. I got a floodgate controlled with a lever and a door, which would probably never be opened once water is flowing through here. Water's going to come in here and I think flow down. Yeah. So this would eventually fill up to, I don't know how high it needs to be, but all of my wells would be dipping into this big cistern. I also made a little connection over here because I do have wells access on this side as well. Anyway, that was the idea. And and at some point I was thinking about a magma forge. I'm not sure how that's going to work yet. I've been doing a little bit of reading and saw that you can also. Hey Cal, how you doing? So I'm just gonna play a little bit of Dwarf Fortress, and I made this silly design in Excel at work one day, and I actually want to try and build it. We'll see how it goes. How you been? Yeah, I haven't been doing much streaming. Too busy with work. How about you? You feeling better? I hope. All right, so. Oh, so when's the baby due? Or when is your wife due, if I may ask? I think you told me once before, but I have forgotten, sir. November. Oh boy, that's getting closer and closer. You're about a month away. She could go at any time. So I hope you're ready. Be ready early is my advice. It's exciting and stressful at the same time. I know it's quite an experience. It really is. All right. Yeah, I hear you. Back pains and everything else. Oh, you just want to be done with it. Oh yeah, I know, man. I did it twice. All right, so that is the fort. So the question is, hmm, well, the thought is, should I draw all this out in Dwarf Fortress beforehand, or just, keep working down as I go along, following my blueprint? I don't know. It probably doesn't make a lot of sense to spend all the time drawing all this out and then, you know, get a year into the fortress and start learning and realize that I've made, horrible mistakes and all this is not going to work. That will probably be a waste of time. In Dwarf Fortress, no. You can. There is some. There's no built-in way to cut and paste, so no. but there are some third-party tools that allow you to cut and paste, but it is not straightforward, and I've never learned how to do it. So anything you do in Dwarf Fortress, you kind of have to do by hand. I could also just, just start playing the game, build whatever, however, and learn more about the game, and then come back later and try and do a fancy fort. That's the smart thing to do, but I, you know, I'm not known for doing smart things. So, hey, I made this at work, and I want to freaking use it, okay? I want to see what happens. I like this idea. It's probably a horrible design. Well, let's just do it and see what happens. Worst case, I can start over, right? No big deal. So I guess the first thing to do would be actually, let's keep this here. Get rid of that. Actually get into the game. All right. Like I said, I have not played a single second yet. So here we are. Before I go any further, I need to. Oh, I know. Yeah, this game is very old school. Uh, don't let that fool you. This game is it's incredibly deep and incredibly complex, and it's got quite a learning curve to get into it. It really does. And like I said, I'm very much a beginner still, but I've been playing on and off for many years and learned bits and pieces, and I've forgotten a whole lot. But I do enjoy the game. Uh, but before I continue, I need to stop and restart the stream because I'm trying to upload some of the stuff to YouTube as well. So I'm going to play with that, you know, offline sometime. But before I do, I need to stop and restart. So I'm going to take a short break, restart, and then I will be right back.